Hey there folks, welcome back to the channel. Here's your mobility work for the day. So we all understand that your glutes and your hamstrings are collectively the most powerful part of your body. This is what you use primarily to do a deadlift. This is why the deadlift is the most powerful movement a human being can generate, can do. But for a lot of us, we spend 30 hours a day, 10 days a week, sitting down, crushing our hamstrings into oblivion, and they're staying very sedentary. They're not really going through a whole lot of range of motion. They get very weak. I get to a point where even if I do deadlift, they're so stiff and tight, I have to bend my back, and now I'm using my back to do all the work. And even though my back is powerful and health strong, it's not as strong as it could be. I need to be using my butt, my hamstrings, but I can't squeeze them. They're too tight, they're weak. Or maybe I'm a kickboxer and I need to be able to take my leg, way up in the air so I can crush somebody's face. What I'm going to do, 2 simple drills. One of them is probably going to be brand new for a lot of you, and we'll go into some detail on that. But first off, if I can get a pair of massage therapy balls, I want to sit down on something where I'm able to get into this position and have my lower leg hanging off the side. And this could be in a chair, on a bench, a jump box, whatever. You can use a foam roller if you want, but I do prefer the massage therapy balls because they're way more effective. And I want to start off, guys, just nice and easy, making sure that the balls don't fall off the end. Just spend some time nice and slowly rolling this, just like I would roll anywhere else. Up, down, rotate side to side, spin side to side. It's going to do a lot to shear the tissues as well. And just move that around all the way from just above the back of your knee to underneath your butt cheek, getting all over there. So I want to spend a good 2 minutes just kind of finagling my way through that area. Something I can do as well, it's pretty gnarly for a lot of people, is that if I just pin this in place, like find the most tender spot, the most inflamed spot of your hamstrings, have your leg out here, and this is why you want to have your leg to be able to go down. It is a lot more comfortable, in all honesty, rather than just being flat on the floor. But if I keep that pin and I move my leg around, this is going to stretch the hamstrings over the balls, so it's kind of like the opposite massage action. I can move that through, and that is pretty nice, in all honesty. Okay, and then you just kind of lean into that to get as much pressure as is reasonable for you. That's where things are starting to get a little bit uncomfortable for me, and that is, of course, the most I would do. The absolute furthest I will take this is, it's a bit uncomfortable, but I'll never get to the point that's painful. I'll never get to the point of, oh my God, that's horrible, where it takes your breath away and it's making you actively clench against it. I don't want to be actively clenching when I'm trying to get things to open up and relax. It's counterproductive, right? Next bit. So I've massaged out both legs, 2 minutes each leg, and then I'm going to do what's called a PNF drill. PNF means proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. We don't actually call it that unless you're like in university for physiology. What we call it instead, or if you're just a pompous PT or physio, what we call it instead is contract relax, because that makes more sense to people. And you'll understand that in just a moment. So what I want to do, I want to challenge my deadlift position. So if I get into my deadlift position, you're not going to be able to see my feet too well, that doesn't matter. I'm going to have my feet parallel, so they're facing straight ahead as if I'm on skis. I slightly bend my knees and my hips, just slightly. Now from here, I'm going to squeeze my butt and squeeze my belly. You'll notice that tucks my hips in. And I keep my shoulders back, keep my head neutral as possible. So I think ear, I got my earpiece on, don't I? That's not needed. I keep my ear hole over my shoulder. All right, from here, I want to keep my belly tight as can be. This is going to lock in the position, the relationship between my hips and my rib cage, and it's going to maintain neutrality in my spine. So it's going to be the most optimal neutral position possible. I'm not flexing forward, I'm not slouching, and I'm not going barrel chested at my beach position. Instead, I'm right in the middle where I'm strongest, and I'm going to take my hips straight back and let my body hinge forward. This is how we go through a deadlift. Now let's just say that this is as far as I can go while keeping my spine non-moving, meaning that in order to get lower, I have to bend through my spine. What I want to do is just go as far as I can go through a proper 100% unadulterated deadlift. Now, in this position, this is a big part of why we need the knees slightly bent. I should be feeling a stretching sensation through the middle of the hamstrings, through the belly. Should not feel it through the back of the knees. If you feel it in the back of the knees, bend your knees a bit more. And definitely do not have them locked out. You should not feel this in the back of the knees, the back of the joint at all. So stretching through the belly of the hamstring. Now what I'm going to do here, guys, this is important, and you need to have a lot of conscious awareness of your own body, and that might be something that you need to develop, and this will develop that very quickly. This is a really good drill for developing that proprioception, that self-awareness in space. So I go into my deadlift. Let's say this is as far as I can go. It's not, but for the sake of the experiment. From here, I'm going to squeeze my butt and my hamstrings as tight as I possibly can. So if you've gone so far into the stretch that you can't squeeze your butt, you've gone too far. Come back up a little bit. But I'm squeezing, I'm breathing. How long am I doing this? For 10 seconds. At the end of the 10 seconds, I'm going to take a big deep breath. I'm still squeezing tight. And then when I exhale, then I'm going to relax. And I'm going to go as far as I can back into that position. So I'm trying to go through my deadlift position as much as I can. Now I find my new range. Let's say this is as far as I can go, which that is about as far as I can go, coincidentally where I would be grabbing a barbell. And then I want to do it again. 3, 2, 1. Squeeze everything. Literally everything. Your feet, your calves, your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes. You're not trying to isolate anything here. You're just trying to squeeze everything from your hips down, probably even your belly as well. Just squeeze as tight as you can. 10 seconds. Breathe in deep, then as you exhale, relax the tissues. See how far you can go. Now, if you can basically get to parallel or lower, you're going to start bending at your spine. There's not really much you can get around that. This is not where you would start like doing work. So feel free, just like stretch out. And especially if you're someone that's saying, you know, I've never been able to touch my toes, do this a couple or 3 times. You're gonna touch your toes. Or maybe even like hug your knees. But yeah, that's that. Those are those 2 drills. So kind of prime your hamstrings for action by massaging them out, 2 minutes on each thigh, and then go through that position. 2 minutes you want to spend contracting for 10 seconds, relaxing for 10 seconds. Keep alternating between those 2 solid minutes. You will make a massive improvement to your range of motion.
If you suffer with chronic pain, chronic injuries, athletic injuries, I have got you covered. My name is Ethan Hammond, and I am a strength and rehab specialist. I work with people who want to return to sport and fitness, but feel that they can't because of pain and injuries. I've helped people with conditions such as lower back pain, ACL tears, shin splints, neck pain and chronic headaches, and so many more things. Now, a lot of you will be going through things like this, like what I just listed above, and you're saying that you cannot train anymore. Bullshit. You have got to train, and you've got to train right. Train or complain, that is the way this works. Now, I work in person in Southampton, England, but I have online services as well if you're a bit further out. And I also offer free consultations to get you started with a free game plan and strategy for getting out of pain. All you have to do is to send me a text or a WhatsApp message to 07 305 231 339, and I will personally get back to you in the next 24 hours to get you started on the road to proper recovery. If you are serious about leveling up and making real change, this is how you start.